Orna, we hear so much about the Internet of Things, but when will we see the Internet of Things move from what feels very much like a concept right now to an actual thing where it is changing lives and changing industries?
First of all, the Internet of Things is already here because you have a lot of sensory information that is interconnected, and actually you have a lot of machine-to-machine information that is being generated. The issue about the outcome of Internet of Things that is moving forward, the data, the cloud, the security or the trust in the data that is in the cloud, and the Internet of Things, it's about content awareness. You collect a lot of data, and what is important is that you actually are aware of what you are collecting. A lot has been said about events that could have been anticipated because the data was there, but the data was not cleaned out to be a prime objective. It was mixed with a lot of other data. So if you have a data about an event and you don't look at the time axis, you're lost. Be it in a prevention of heart attack, or a failure in a jet engine, or a collision on the road. Each one of those is really an Internet of Things matter with relevant data, with possible relevant modeling, but not necessarily using all the modeling to make it yet practical. The more practical you make out of your data, the better you are, or the worse you are, because you can also misuse it for anything like fraud or crime, or even destruction of critical infrastructure. And you don't want to allow that. So you need to master, automate, manage, and experience the connectivity of different devices.
If I was to kind of sum up today, I would say we're, to paraphrase someone I heard recently talk about the Internet of Things, it's kind of like a perfect storm. Like in Europe this week, we saw a new data protection law come into, at least be backed by European ministers. In recent weeks, we've seen Apple bring out things like HealthKit, new updates to HealthKit. At the same time, we've seen Apple say very strong things themselves about how they manage data and how they feel about using people's data. At the same time, the fear in Europe after everything from Edward Snowden to whether it's Google gathering your data and maybe potentially selling it onto an insurance company, these kind of questions come up. How much work needs to be done there to make sure that we can go, yes, I'm walking around the world today, I've got devices gathering information on my heart, I can trust it. Is it like a perfect storm or a coming together of so many things at once, or have we a long road ahead before it becomes a much more trusted platform?
It is a perfect storm, and we cannot avoid the collection of the data because the data is of our interest. We definitely collect our personal images. We definitely use applications that navigate us. We definitely want, when our phone is stolen, to know where the phone is. But on the other hand, we are exposed. So we are exposed. And the question is, what is that we're building? Because the testbed that we talked about is not only about making the content awareness and the usability of the content. It's also about putting governance, risk, and compliance in order to protect the data, in order not to be able to reverse engineer the data and get to your private information when you're going to be insured. You want to get the regular insurance as your company provides. So there are lots of issues that, first of all, we are exposed. Secondly, there are a lot of measures that can prevent the exposure from being misused. And this is definitely behind the availability of data.
One of the things that crosses my mind a lot when I hear about testbeds emerging and big companies being involved is I kind of go, okay, some very interesting examples come up there of how a car manufacturer could cut out the middleman and go straight to deal with the customer. What would you say is the opportunity of the Internet of Things for people who make things, invent things, the entrepreneurs, the people who could create a Wi-Fi controlled lawnmower, for example, or something that they've dreamed up. Is there a danger that the Internet of Things could become a walled garden for big companies only, or do you think it'd be more of an equality or egalitarian area for inventors and makers?
I think that the Internet of Things brings democratization of the data. Because if you remember in a testbed, and everything that is open is available to you, regardless of the fact that you're a small company, because of the partnership and the joint ventures around the testbed, you're actually exposed to much more than you would have been exposed if you were evolving in seclusion. So the connectivity is bringing you much faster to the knowledge of the relevant parties and is bringing the data much faster to your use.
Orna, thank you very much.